Anyway, who recalls the events of the last session?
Nothing
Yes.
important happened. No one died.
Yeah, I'd love to, but I have to do it in character, and I can't.
We woke
Or
up and it was all
do
a
it in
dream.
character. If you'll excuse me, I'll mute myself.
I love on the bottom there's the GM, Meryl, Cyrus, Naxor, Salumia, not Krend, Donnie.
Yeah. So we landed in the temple at the 100. Is it 100 pillars?
100
Yeah.
pillars, yeah.
And we chased Punch down some stairs, got into the main sort of chamber where a number of priests had been turned into the little jester person people, and we got into a fight. We managed to take down Punch with very little damage to the little jester people as much as we could. However, I got trapped, and Krend pushed me out of the way to save me and was killed. He died a hero, you know. He died doing what he loved, being close to Cyrus. And then, yeah, we managed to kill Punch, and then did we actually end up killing the spirit? Or did the spirit get away? I can't remember.
No, he killed the spirit.
I think we killed with the spirit.
Don't killed that thing.
Yeah. And then Cyrus tried to see if the priests here could cure and resurrect, cure Krend of his deathness, but they couldn't. So we're all kind of now just in a bit of shock.
Yeah, I think we ended with just us like sort of sitting there and just being like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Alright, so following your chaotic fight in Kren's untimely death, you know the people come into the cathedral, the other monks and whatnot, make themselves known. They start tidying up. Archimandrite Rockfort. I think you did meet him, didn't you?
Yeah, he came in and couldn't do anything to help Krend.
No, he couldn't save Krend, but he did come in and
they don't believe in resurrecting people who died heroes because
martyrs and all that. Yeah.
Is that all that Cyrus is taking away from this? Is that he won't help?
Well, Cyrus is struggling to see that. I mean, it must be for the greater good that they can't resurrect him. You know, Krend has gone to a better place. And why would you want to take him away from that better place? That makes sense as to why they wouldn't resurrect him.
Yeah, he's gone into the archive tab.
It's like you just get to Disney World and then they're like, actually, you need to come back out now. Like, why would you do that? You stay there. Makes sense to him in a roundabout way. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, Archimandrite at Rockport comes around and is very grateful. Thanks sincerely for what you've done and apologises for the death of your friend. And he asks you what you intend to do with Punchinello, who now no longer being possessed looks like he doesn't look like he's going to last as it is.
Yeah, is there any way to... So he's on the way out, is he? He's like dying actively.
He's not actively dying, but you can't. You're struggling to see a way where he's going to become healthy again. As such, he's not like dying in minutes or anything, but he's like he's a shell of a man.
Nugget of a man.
He's not in a good way.
I mean,
nugget of a man.
I know this might not be this might not be something you would love the idea of, so please stop me if this is off the table, but I mean, it appears to me that he doesn't have much to return to back in his home city of Kirkwall, his beloveds died, and it sounds like he's killed a few people he knows. The best place I can think for someone to recover and potentially spiritually recover after this would be maybe a cathedral. How would you feel about having him among your ranks? Obviously, I can't speak for him and what he wants, but could you give it a go?
It doesn't immediately appear to have occurred to him, but upon your suggestion, he sort of considers for a moment. He's agreeable. He thinks he can understand that, and he sort of gives you a little speech about the path of light being for everyone and being always welcome to help those in need and all that kind of stuff. So, doing a good thing. So, yeah, they're open to that.
How much would passage back to Kirkwall typically cost? Usually, for one person.
You're probably not talking a huge amount. It depends on the mode of transport and how they're, if they're intending just to be a passenger or whether they're going to pay earn their way or anything.
Probably just a passenger.
But yeah, it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect to ever get passage back on a passing trader for 5 to 10 gold.
I leave 20 gold with Rockfoot and say this is for Punchinello, should he need it, to go wherever he likes.
Very generous of you.
I suppose
you are lawful good. I was just checking your alignment and was like, he's something good, but yes, he is.
This is more out of character rather than Cyrus thinking about this, but Krend will also have had money on him when he died.
Yeah, do you want to know the spoils from Krend then if you loot him?
I suppose.
Hang on, yeah.
I was waiting for Salumia to do it.
Right, Krend has got 50 gold on him, so that's always a good one. He's got 6 potions of healing.
Oh, damn.
Because I don't know.
And he didn't use any?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm looking at that and I'm like, hang on, no, okay, I didn't take those off. No, okay, we don't have 6 potions of healing.
Oh, okay.
That's my mistake. I had left
that
them on.
Really would have changed the flavour of his heroic death.
It really would have. He has got.
To be fair, he didn't get an opportunity to use any of them.
That is a fair point.
He definitely did.
He took the damage and he had one turn after that where he failed a death save.
No, but he went into that already hurt.
Not
yeah,
that
but that point, he still had half hit points. He didn't necessarily.
Okay, he's also got a breastplate, a great axe +1, 4 cut off pieces of skin with brands on them. A bunch of rope, backpack, piltons, hand axe, daggers, that kind of stuff. A dungeoneer's pack worth of stuff. So if you want to loot his corpse, that's what you can get.
Well, the Great Axe +1 is in the handout items list, if anyone wants to take that, as other brands.
So good.
I will take the gold.
Is the Great Axe one-handed?
No,
That's great.
Oh, okay. I don't want it.
No, otherwise it would have been a good axe.
Yeah.
The okay axe.
A fair axe.
Yeah.
It'd be worth to take. Just, yeah. Be expensive.
I will take Krend's gold and use it in his name.
Yep.
Yeah, Meryl's fine with that. After we've kind of divvied things up, Meryl would like to ask the Archmandrite, what would draw a being like this to the cathedral? It wasn't a coincidence. He seemed to be making a beeline for the cathedral. He seemed to have a goal in mind. Could you think what anything that could have been?
It depends entirely on what his motives were.
We don't know.
Can I ask him? I mean, it's a cathedral. It's the base of the Path of Light. We have a number of religious artifacts. We've got quite a lot of. I mean, you could argue we're relatively wealthy. There are catacombs beneath the cathedral, but I don't think any of that in particular would necessarily stand out as a motivator.
Does the name Callum Entum mean anything to you?
He kind of frowned and looked quite solemn.
Just because a group of people, we're not saying who, may have witnessed his resurrection, and this our friend here and the creature that he was turned into were sort of created by Calamentum.
What nature of creature is it? Is Calamentum?
He was a skeleton when we met him earlier.
He was. Might still be.
Probably
Unknown currently.
put on a bit of weight.
He's had a couple of snacks.
Did he smoke?
Did he? I think he might have. I think he may have.
Yeah, he had a pipe.
Yes, he did.
Thank you, character art.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Come with me. So our Commander Direct Roll Court leads you to the library, and on the way there you do pass there's a small forge. It's not particularly substantial. This isn't like a military or camp or anything, but there is a forge, and in the forge you spot a figure who stands out as you're passing by. It's a particularly tall, thick-set individual in armor who seems to be making some kind of. It doesn't look like he's making weapons. He looks like he's making day-to-day stuff. But he definitely stands out like a sore thumb amongst rooms and stuff.
What does he look like?
He appears to be a Goliath.
See too many of them around.
Is he punching a lot of things?
No, he's just doing his little forge.
Specifically uppercutting things, yeah?
No.
Just punching the metal on the anvil.
Categorically not.
Okay. So you haven't used uppercutting as Big Punch as an NPC, because if you had,
No.
Cool.
No, my ideal is that character never comes to life.
One day.
Not under that name, anyway. But yeah, you're passing by, and you're not going to probably carry on to the library, I guess.
Hmm.
And you hit the library, and Archimand Right Rockport basically leads you, goes to find another monk who doesn't appear to say much, but they appears to be using some kind of sign language, and they have what appears to be a short conversation. And he confirms that he reckons they do know of the being which he speaks. They're not familiar with the current name. They suggest that, as far as you can know, and this is backed up by what you found in Kirkwall, but the name of said individual has changed over time. Like he's been around multiple times. Never used the same name twice, but always been the same individual in terms of the skeleton with the hat and the pipe. And the research suggests that the name he chooses to take each time is some relation to the previous life of the body that he's possessed.
Oh, okay.
So he's much the same as you've already established. The individual tends to appear at times of great strife, or like change, and Rockport is kind of he's looking very wistful at this, not wistful, thoughtful, kind of pondering he seems a bit undecided about something. And he suggests that you stay the night, and maybe you'll see you in the morning and see what you want to do next. Because you all look pretty tired and knackered and that sort.
Okay,
Seems fair.
that sounds like a good idea.
Cyrus would like to approach him and just ask him if Krend's body can be dealt with the highest of holy rituals or whatever it is that they do during the burial of a
It's
fallen.
good to know that Cyrus is up to scratch on his religious.
Well, Cyrus is. I'm not, because it doesn't exist in your wiki
When I mean, really,
of how they deal with burials.
Yeah, no, he's very agreeable to that. And, he died in defence of the cathedral. He's happy to give him all due honour.
Yeah, I mean, he protected the path of life.
They'll arrange the funeral for the next day.
Arguably, Cyrus is arguing that he should be made a saint. At least a martyr. Died a martyr.
The Archimand writes since he's not necessarily in the position of authority to authorise that, but he's happy to put a word in.
That's good.
So you're gonna take a nap, take a night. This is the first time you've actually stopped of any significance since you got back to Kirkwall, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's been a mile a minute since then.
Pretty
hectic few days.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
At dinner, there's like a communal kind of, for want of a better phrase, like canteen. And at dinner, you see the same Goliath from the forge earlier in the day taking dinner alone and struggling with the size of the cutlery.
I suppose we should probably go and say hello. If he's a loner, might want to join us.
He might fit in.
He might fit in. Yeah.
We have got a spot on the old squad now.
Cyrus is gonna go over there. Is he struggling to eat with the cutlery?
A little bit, yeah. It's just not sized for him.
Cyrus is gonna go over there and cast. He's gonna go over there and cast Mage Hand, and offer to give him a hand with the eating.
Just to feed him like a baby.
So he's gonna go, I don't know if I can help at all, and then he's just gonna cast it and wave the hand as a way to help with at least cutting the stuff up so that it'd just be like a spoon into the face kind of jobby.
Alright. You should have had that pop up.
Oh shit.
Yes. That's a cool fan art.
Jesus.
Have you just deleted my bio, Sam?
No, it's still there. I just took it away for a minute.
Okay.
Just deleted it.
No, I moved it into the DM notes just for a minute so that you can introduce your character without everyone just being able to immediately know the background in a minute.
He's
Okay.
re-bioed.
Please do undo it when you've done it, because it's completely fucked my character sheet. Probably because I was in it when that happened. Anyway, yes. So you're going to go up and offer to help me with your mage hand to cut his food up.
Exactly.
All right.
I see you're struggling with the finer, dainty little cutlery. Don't suppose I can help at all.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Yes, they do not make this big enough,
Oh, well, you are quite a large sort of fellow. And then
Oh, you're too kind.
Cyrus will literally just cut up all of his food into small chunks. And then choose himself as Cyrus.
Once everything's cut up, the Goliath will just start shoving it into his mouth with his hand and say, "My name is Thalok, Gun Hunter Horn, but they call me Iron Weaver."
Nice to meet you, Iron Weaver. My name's Cyrus, and these are my friends. And then I'm just going to wave at the group. You may have heard of us. We recently got into spot of bother trying to, protect the protected everyone, and we lost one of our party. He died a hero.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Did he
I-
at least die in glorious fire?
No, it was more in
a maggot, really.
More
Mostly-
stabbed to death.
yeah.
That is a shame, then.
But he did die a hero.
Then you should burn his body so his soul will go to the World Forge.
Interesting. What's this World Forge?
You don't know about the World Forge? Ah, right. He's gonna slap a big hand on your shoulder and gesture out the window at a mountain and go like, "Look at that mountain. Do you see it? Yes.
Yes.
Imagine that made of fire."
Alright, put your fire back in there, Doc.
Thank you.
I'm getting big. I'm gonna let you finish, but vibes from Cyrus.
Yes, my hometown was atop a mountain just like that. And then it exploded. It was glorious. So
Wow.
now I travel looking for other mountains that are going to explode.
That's by the way, this is actually two of my character personality traits. I'm actually very tolerant of other faiths and respect the worship of other gods. So
Oh, this isn't a god.
but it might be a faith though. Agreed?
Oh, aye.
There we go. That's all that matters. I'm all for it. Sorry, just very interested, but for the sake of, I guess, the session, won't go too much into the faith of this.
Yeah, so that we don't just sit here and have a religious debate.
Cyrus is just going to politely ask for a book to read at his leisure on the World Forge, if there is one.
Iron Weaver is going to stare at you like you've just asked for, like a book on how dogs work. Like, what? Oh.
Oh well, never mind. Anyway, moving on. Oh, sorry, apologies to anybody who listens to this about the accent.
People listen to this.
Mostly, I'm apologising to myself when I listen to it a little bit later.
A
Sorry,
little bit
future
later.
Dan.
I have no idea how behind I am.
Marvelous.
Well, you're welcome to join our party. We do need a big, strong fellow like yourself. We're a bit lacking in the old protection point of view.
Where are
yes,
you
that would be
heading?
Very helpful.
Are
I
there
don't
going to
know.
be mountains where you go?
I imagine there could be. I don't really know where I'm going. I mostly just follow, my heart and mind.
We're chasing a talking skeleton.
Oh, hey, that too.
Okay then.
He seems like he's up to no good, so we're just a bit cautious.
We do have a bone to pick with him.
I don't understand these words you're saying. But very well, if you'll have me, I'm journeying looking for mountains.
Oh,
Anywhere I can find them, or big buildings, really.
I'm sure we'll be able to find that.
Good.
Specificity.
Just mountains.
Just any mountain or large building will do.
Mountains, big buildings, anything I can fill with fire.
God. This is
I think I can
is-
see how the
this
rest
is
of us are going to die.
This is like how I imagined Skullclaw would have been if he was ever grown up. Still obsessed with fire, but big.
And slightly more psychotic.
Yeah.
At that point, you're going to see Thalok pick up. He's got a water skin that he keeps around his neck. He's going to grab it and almost like a bagpipe, but reverse, pump it into his own mouth. Oh, glorious! And you can see black smoke coming out of his mouth.
What's that you're drinking there?
Oh, do you want some? It's
No.
not a drink.
Is it just smoke?
Yeah. Yeah, he will offer the water skin to Cyrus.
Cyrus will try some.
In my head, it's essentially a bit like an ever-smoking bottle, but for volcanic smoke.
Essentially,
Right.
yes.
Cyrus is gonna. I just realised I haven't done my long resting. He's gonna try some and attempts to drink it like a normal water skin because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Roll a Constitution save. All right, you managed to like a kid trying his first pipe. You managed to take a deep puff, and you just about avoid like coughing or vomiting, but you do splutter a bit, and it's like oh, and yeah, it's a very powerful hit, but it doesn't. There's nothing about it necessarily other than the fact that it is just volcanic smoke, so
Huh, fair.
it doesn't taste great. It does make you want to, but you desperately want to cough horrendously, but you're polite enough to avoid it.
That's some really strong stuff there.
Thank you.
Cyrus is now just going to quietly eat and drink. Just try really hard to not cough.
Right. Characters successfully introduced.
Indeed, yes.
Right, so you all have your long rest. Check that. They've been few and far between so far. So.
I know, right? No wonder we've had deaths.
To be fair, Krend went into that fight pretty much fully healed.
Yeah, he went in full health and with all of his spell slots.
But it's not
And
even
his
like
racials.
yeah.
And 6 potions of healing.
No.
Alright, the following day, Archimandrite at Rockfort meets you in the morning, and you have a funeral for Krend. It's a solemn affair. They bury him with a big headstone. They names him a hero of the path of light. It's all very pleasant.
Oh, sad times.
I do like that. I like that we replaced Krend before the funeral.
Thalak comes along. He doesn't really understand the concept of not burning a dead body, but he's willing to accept what's Thal.
That is fair.
It's very weird.
Cool.
Alright, so Rockfort takes you to him afterwards and explained a few things. So he explained, obviously, they've come across Calamentum in some form or not in their records before. They've established he normally pops up during, as we said, times of great strife. And he has a sneaking suspicion he might have an inkling of what that strife potentially is going to be. So he seems to have made up his mind about what he wasn't sure about before. And he basically introduces you to the fact that there is a fairly secretive but existing movement within the Imperium that attempting to start a revolution.
Oh.
The iron fist of the Imperial Creed is starting to wear thin. So they're ready for something else. There is a page on the wiki under factions, I think. So he names them the Magna Mutata or Tatio, and they're keen to see freedom in the Imperium, and he suggests that Calamentum, they're not really sure what kind of spirit it is that makes up that said entity, but it's probably been attracted by that potential for change and chaos and everything that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
He's willing to admit that the Path of Light not particularly keen on the new Imperial Creed. They see them as zealots, so they're kind of quietly supportive, but not actively working with said group. He's aware of them, and they're sort of willing to passively assist if possible, but not really doing a huge amount generally. He's still not sure why Punch would have been drawn here to speak of. But he does say that if if Calamentum's going to be, if that's the indication of where Calamentum's or why Calamentum's here, he's probably going to be within the Imperium.
Yeah.
And it may be, his only suggestion, if you're trying to track him down, is that potentially he's going to be drawn to wherever that the revolutionary sort of situation's escalating.
That's fair. In regards to why he was here, are there any potential prophecies or anything like that? Because I know the Path of Light are like focused on prophecy, fate, and that kind of stuff. As per your wiki, are there any prophecies that might have driven him here that they're aware of?
Not regarding like Punch as an individual or anything, or like an individual who relates to him. The only real prophecy that they're kind of, I don't want to say pushing, but the only one that they're kind of significant on is like the return of the Sovereign, which is kind of an overarching, one day the Sovereign will return and save the world sort of situation.
Fair.
But you're already aware of that, and that's the kind of thing where it's in the similar idea, like, in the same way that a lot of Christians say, oh yeah, Jesus will turn up on Judgment Day and lead us all into heaven or whatever it is. Like, it's kind of, yes, it's in the book, but nobody actually expects it to happen.
Fair play.
So yeah, it's not anything related to this as far as they can tell.
Cool.
I guess he asks you what your intentions are now.
I suppose we're gonna have to try and find this.
If he can assist you in any way.
So we've got to try and find this rebellion, haven't we?
Yes, basically. Is there any ideas of where this Magnus Mutatio might be brewing, or like some of its centers?
Well, he's admitted that he has had no communication with them briefly, and that they have contacted the Path of Light to ask about whether they would join them. And they took a neutral stance and said, we're not going to join you or anything. We can't be actively seen to be helping you because we're sort of generally non-violent and not sort of wanting to get involved in sort of politics as such, but happy to help passively. And they say that obviously the direct link they have with them is through Marathias, which is the nearby Imperial mining town to the northeast, west even. And the individual they've spoken with there is a guy who goes by the name of Mr. Salou.
Salumi?
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
No.
Shame, that would have been easy.
So he says, yeah, you could, by all means, travel to Marathias. There are ways and means to get there.
What was the guy's name called? Sorry,
Mr. Salou.
Mr. Salou. Cool.
The way he frames it is slight French, so it's spelled Salut.
Yep. Nice. I suppose it gives us some more detailed place we can find this guy as well.
Yeah, so he explains a little bit. Sort of, goes into the fact that Mr. Salou is he's a significant figure in Marathias. He's basically leader of not leader, first and equals of he formed a union. So he was a miner, and he was unhappy with his situation. I think his title now was mining captain, but he formed a union amongst his fellow miners, and they basically forcibly bought out the owner of the mine, their own mine with an alcohol. And then after a little while afterwards, they sort of were able to expand on that and do the same thing in a few other surrounding mines. And now he's one of the big cheeses in the local mining area for Marathias.
Okay.
There's but he's not, as an individual and as a group. Him and his union are not very popular with the sort of old school, nobly owned mining companies. They see him as upstarts and dangerous, though the idea is quite dangerous.
Okay.
So he doesn't, from when you learn this, you're not particularly surprising that he might be the kind of guy interested in revolution.
Yeah, he sounds like the type.
Now, this Magna Mutario, any relation to magma?
Not as far as they're aware. But it could well be. You never know.
Could be. All right, I'm in.
We did it, lads. We got him in.
I mean, it doesn't look like it. Marothius isn't too far from here. Would it just be easier to go via land to get to there, or would you suggest like a skyship?
So the Ursa Cathedral is very remote, and trying to the passes to get there over land are very difficult to travel through. It's perfectly doable and it has been done, but it's a lot of up. You do a lot of up and down for not much sideways sort of progress. The more generally everyone comes and goes via airship.
Fair enough.
The Rockfort does inform you that there is a way underground, but it's not an easy route either. So,
Skyship, everyone.
Well, how possible is it to get a skyship? Because obviously, well, these guys arrived via a skyship by jumping off onto the roof, but presumably you can't do that in reverse.
The key, Marathius is the nearest significant settlement, so they have a lot of supplies coming from there. So they have big skyships like the one that drop you off probably once every week or something, but smaller ones that might just be the equivalent of like a fishing boat, but skyship sort of size. They're fairly common back and forth. They bring pilgrims and stuff and whatnot, so there's normally one every day or two.
We could try one of those, and if we can't get one for whatever reason, we could try the underground pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, Archimandrite, I know we're imposing on you a lot, but whilst we're awaiting a skyship, I know you had. I did see your very impressive library. Would I be able to peruse it for information which might be helpful to our endeavours?
By all means, it's at your disposal.
Meryl's off. Like he's fucking. There's like a smoke outline of him.
Fucking hell.
Nerd.
Meryl would like to as much time whilst everyone else is keeping an eye out for a skyship. He'd like to just bury himself in books and try and do some research.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say you've probably got a best part of a day's worth of downtime. People may do as they will.
Meryl would like to try and he would like to find any books on spells to see if he can find any more spells, and also anything that references previous lives of Calaventum and just undead in general, I guess.
All right, so you have a good hunt through the. I mean, is there any out of character as it were? Are there any particular spells you're scoping out that you want to get in your spell book?
There was a few. Let me try.
Ed sorts this out.
Yeah, while you do that, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody wants any smithing done, and Ironweaver will hold up his hammer excitedly. No? Anything?
Didn't Donnie want a one-handed axe?
What, sorry?
Didn't Donnie want a one-handed axe?
I didn't want one, but...
I can craft you the finest one.
Yeah. A one-handed axe would be...
I'm not sure it's unfeasible that you could just do some jiggery pokery with a great axe to make it smaller and lighter.
Well, presumably I could do that. What? Chop off some of the handle, edge down the blade a bit.
Yeah, you just need to lighten the head and make the handle shorter.
Can I do that then?
Yeah, I think that you could certainly start.
Yeah. Do you want me to roll a Smith's Tools thing?
Yeah, do that with what's that going to be?
Intelligence, wisdom, strength, charisma. I don't.
Might do a combination, so I might do because you can roll Smith's Tools with an attribute, can't you?
Yeah, that's what I can do. Yeah.
So why don't you do one with strength and then one with wisdom?
All right, there's a strength one, and there's a wisdom one.
Okay, so yeah, physically, the smithing side of things, you're down with that. No problem there at all. But making axes is easy, as far as you're concerned. But with the kind of magical side of things, trying to maintain the enchantment on the axe, it is doable. But you're trying to take your time, make sure you don't fuck it up and lose the enchantment. So you've made good progress, but it's not yet finished. You think another day or so, and you probably pull it off.
All right, I will tell Donnie as much. More time is needed.
Mighty fine.
Cyrus would like to spend some time researching, like, beliefs of what happens when you die.
So Cyrus is researching different parts of the afterlife.
Yeah.
Donnie. Sorry.
Any particular beliefs or anything, or
Well, he doesn't really know what Krend believed, but just everything really. Anything and everything.
Okay. Well, you have hunt around. You do a good bit of reading, and you establish that the Path of Light and the Sovereign kind of Imperial Creed, old and new, are largely the opinion. You die, you go to join the Sovereign, become part of the Great Hall, part of the Light, and blah blah blah. Other than that, afterlife beliefs aren't particularly strongly rooted in the in the kind of cultures that you're dealing with here. There are some about. So the Brotherhood of Beren believe in rebirth.
Yeah.
They have a strong belief that whilst you may die, your soul will be reborn into someone else. And obviously, you don't
Very
remember.
too confirmed.
The rebarianing.
Finally.
You don't remember your previous lives, but you are reborn.
Okay.
Wise, and there is an enduring sect of the followers of Yungtor down in the coastlands.
There's far too much going on in the world at this time of day.
Right. So the followers of Yungtor believe that you go to it's kind of like a Valhalla situation where if you die and you die in battle or you die in glory, you'll go to a particular place where you have an ongoing celebration, and then at the end of the world, you'll join Yungtor in the Great Storm and have a nice time.
The Great Storm.
Essentially, the story of the followers of Yungtor is a bit of an odd one. They exploded in popularity a few 10 years ago and spread across a very wide space and area, and then almost as quickly kind of fizzled out. It was a bit of a fad. So they're still around, but they only really occupy the coastlands now.
Okay.
So you've got an oddly strong following amongst the pirates, but other than that, everyone else kind of thinks the story is a bit of a one-shot, one-hit wonder.
I do have a few spells that Merrill would be keeping an eye out for. So things like some level 3 spells he likes the look of, counter spell, Lehman's Tiny Hut. He just likes the idea of being safe.
I'll be honest with you, Tiny Hut is 100% an expected spell from you.
I don't know what the rules as written stuff is on researching spells. I'm not sure how it's meant to take. How it's meant to take.
It's like I can find a spell, but then it takes a certain amount of gold and gold's worth of inks and papers to transcribe it into my spell book.
Right. Okay.
I
based
need
on
to double check
spell
exactly
level.
how much that is. It depends on the level of the spell.
Yeah. So they're relatively. You can find record of those spells. Adding to your spell book is going to take you a little while. So you've got time. It's just a case of resource.
Let me just I will double check how much that is.
Are we long resting at the minute?
We have already
downtime,
yeah.
Oh, it's just downtime.
So Dom has been working. Dom's been forging, basically.
Yeah.
Ed's been researching spells in the library. Dan's been researching the afterlife in the library.
Yeah, boy.
And I don't know what we haven't been through anyone else yet. So
Can I suggest to Donnie that we go out hunting and butchering and get some food? get some meats together.
I don't know why, but I imagine Donnie's version of going out and hunting and Salumier's version of going out and hunting are very similar, but Salumier does it
People.
in a city and Donnie does it in the wilds.
Donnie is going to split his time 50-50. He's going to ask good. I assume this was it the cathedral is kind of in the middle of nowhere, so it's quite surrounded by countryside.
Yep.
So he's going to ask the best hunting places.
Lumier's going to go with him.
All right, so you go ask some Archimander points you to have like a group of people who they got like they're rangers sort of style boys who there's 2 or 3 of them and they sort of keep an eye on the local wildlife, make sure the wolves don't get out of hand in that kind of situation.
Make sure no one lets the dogs out.
Huh?
Make sure no one lets the dogs out.
Yeah, and they do say it's so remote that as soon as you get any distance from the cathedral, there's plenty of wildlife about. They do mention that they did have some issues with a particularly large and grumpy bear a few months ago.
Oh no!
Oh, here we go.
Oh no!
One of them is adamant that it was a druid in bear form, but
A druid in bear form.
but the others are unconvinced.
What colour was it?
Does this bear have a price on his head?
Was it a black bear?
It was a very large black bear, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
Does the bear have a bounty on its head?
But they are individual. No, it's like they don't just put bounties on wild animals to the point of it.
Wanted bear.
Someone
Does
it kill their chickens or something?
It potentially killed Donnie's ma.
So really, Donnie should put a bounty on it.
Yeah.
And then pay me for it.
Well, they confirmed that it came into the area. It actually passed by relatively quickly and was kind of travelling in a relatively, as far as I can tell, they tracked it briefly. And basically, it came by. It appeared to approach town, and then they didn't really find it much, and then it moved on past town and went north.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're going to head north. Look for that bear.
Yeah, let's go and kill that bear.
It was a few months ago.
Well, we're going to go hunting to the north of the cathedral and see if we can.
Are you going to at least take the party with you before we fuck off and we just lose you two for a month?
Lost in the wilds.
Change the subject. We're going to hunt bears.
You head north about the city cathedral area. I don't know what you call the built-up area around it. Anyway, you head north out the settlement, and then you eventually find some bear tracks, and you hunt it down to a den, and you do find it. It is a substantially sized bear, but it is definitely brown, not black.
Oh.
So so far the bear is unaware of your presence, but it is present in its den. What would you like to do?
Kill it.
Yeah.
All right, can I get a stealth roll from both of you, please?
Roll initiative. It's going to result in them fighting a bear on their own.
We're going to end up running back to the cathedral with a bear chasing us.
I'm well up for just watching you two fighting a bear.
All right, Donnie is in his fucking element. He's loving life. So Donnie's got his crossbow ready, and he's like half up a tree, just hanging by his legs, like upside down.
His strangely muscular toes.
Long, double-jointed, hairy toes, and he's gripping twigs with like tree branches with them.
My, what muscular toes you have!
And Illumia, by comparison, is he ate rather too much breakfast and he's got indigestion. So he actually has like a really horrendous tummy grumble and then a massive fart. Just as he's coming like in to the edge of the clearing where the bear's den is, and the bear clocks him straight away. And the bear kind of stands up and does a bit of a kind of eyes him up and down, ready to have at. Slumia, what do you do?
I'm going to try and calm the bear down. By
Forget about it.
Is that persuasion? Yeah. Hey, forget about it.
That's exactly what it is.
Performance.
Okay, roll persuasion, I guess.
No, there's a
Roll animal handling.
Yes, there we go. Never have I ever rolled animal handling, and never will I again. As I do this, I'm going to turn around.
Why?
I'm going to look at Donnie, and I'm going to just shout at Donnie.
I like the idea is you just do the hand motion and you literally just go, forget about it, and then the bear just gets fucking livid.
He does the hand motion, and as he does it, his apron flaps, and like a side of bacon just falls. It's like the bacon hanging out of the apron pocket on the front.
Like Donnie's gonna turn around and book it up a tree.
Oh no, you mean Slumia?
Did I say Donnie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Salumia is going to turn around and
Roll. Hang on. Let me get a dice for this bear. Right, roll me some acrobatics to climb the tree. All right, you're up the tree like a shot. But you are mildly shaken because the bear. All right, the bear makes short work of the journey across, and the bear is setting about trying to climb the tree after you. All right, hold that thought. Donnie, what are you doing while you see all this happen and shake your head at yourself? You're just like you have no words for the idiocy of your friend.
Well, I guess Donnie can only do the thing that he can, is hunt the bear. I guess he's still stealth, so he's gonna shoot his crossbow at the bear's head.
Alright, roll attack. I mean, you've got disadvantage for a cool shot, but it's yeah. So you take the bear square behind the ear, and it's an instantaneous response, but it instantly sort of stops, sways for about 2 seconds, and then just collapses in a heap, and then bleeds out and dies. There's minimal hesitation there.
Donnie's immediately gonna jump out of the tree and then do a little jig, shouting "Ooh-wee!" and then fire his 2 more crossbows in the air.
Okay.
Wait, have you just nailed the bear? Have you killed the bear?
Yeah.
With one shot?
Is this the same bear that's like your vendetta bear?
No, this is a
This is
bear.
just a random bear. This is just a
This
random
is just a normal bear.
This is
All
just
bears
a
are
regular
technically
bear.
technically a vendetta bear. One.
I think
daughter
Donnie particularly hates bears, but it's not the bear that.
These
not
are
the
not
bear.
bears. you're looking
Amazed.
for.
Salumia managed to walk up to a bear den, fart enough to wake up the bear, and then while trying to calm it down, waved some bacon in its face. Like, it is a good thing Donnie was there.
Yeah, it was a like 9 points is not crazy damage, but it was a cool shot on the head. So I'm like, eh. And I'm sure if Donnie bothered to use his other all his other mad damage adds, it would probably be enough. So I'm not too worried. Because then you get this like a D8 anyway. Something.
Yeah, I get the plus.
Yeah.
Plus a slayer, and then another attack, and then another attack.
Salumia is going to set about the bear carcass.
What's he doing to it?
And have his way.
Making love to it.
We're gonna split. Salumia can have the meat, and Donnie wants the fur and head
Yeah, you
and claws.
And claws.
What's Donnie
Donnie
intending to do?
wants the hands.
Donnie's going to wear it all.
Is Donnie going to wear it?
Yeah, he might make a coat.
A bearskin coat. So not like a cloak with the thing, just a coat, like a camel wear coat but made of bear.
He's going to make a nice vest.
Okay.
Sorry.
What kind of what you? Okay, you got your bear skin complete with like paws and claws and the head.
Yeah,
And,
that's like sits on top.
yeah,
of
you've got approximately like what is it? I think what's the weight of an average brown bear?
Lots.
Fucking love.
So
Surely more meat on that than one person can carry.
yeah, I was gonna say once you take, even if you take out like the bones and the skin and all the shit you don't want and all the organs, but even so, you're still staring at a carcass that's probably packing the best part of 150 kilos of meat.
Mhm.
I'm gonna throw it out there that I'm doubtful you can carry 150 kilos of meat.
I am also doubtful I could carry 150 kilos.
Hang on, what spells have I got?
Ah, yes, I cast Meat Carry.
We gotta be careful. If those two hang around too much, how long is it before Donnie is wearing like a dwarf skin coat? Because eventually it's gonna happen.
Currently, 100 kg is over my carry capacity.
Oh dear.
How do I edit this? I've put 100 in and now it's stuck. I can't. Oh, there it is. You have to double click. Let's see if 50 kilos takes me over. No, 50 kilos, all right. I take 50 kilos of meat.
Bear in mind that like there's 150 kilos all in, but if you ignore like the stringy bits off the leg, or like off the lower legs, like the near
I
paws,
want to take 50 kilos of meat.
Can't imagine it's the best meat.
you take 50 kilos of prime cut. You got yourself some nice like you got your big joints from the shoulders and the thighs, and you got your steaks. You're a happy man. Does Donnie want any? Does Donnie want any bear?
Donnie doesn't like bear. He doesn't like the taste.
Tastes like failure.
Yeah,
Tastes like mummy.
it tastes like his failures. Yeah, it tastes like Ma.
Oh,
Why does he know? Alright, so Slimier's got a pack full of bear meat. Donnie's got himself a bear skin, and you travel back to the settlement at Risen Cathedral, rich with spoils. Is Donnie going to attempt to do anything with the skin, like cure it or clean it, or is he just going to wear it like?
No, he's gonna try to make it into a coat as far as his own capabilities manage.
Right.
He's not like a clothes maker, but he can like.
Could you not
I guess
put part of it over a drum?
yeah, he's gonna try to like get off all the meat and like do some. tanning or drying, whatever.
You take it to the forge where there's like places to hang up and whatnot, and it's good. You get it nice and dry. You scrape off all the scraps that Slumier sort of left on it, so it's relatively clean, and you make sure it's fairly dry, and then using some like a strip of the like underskin to make like a cord, you kind of make a rough kind of. It's almost like a vest, a bit like a puffer jacket sort of vest style thing, but it's got the paws over the shoulders. It's got the paws over the shoulders, and it hangs down quite low, like past your ass. It's quite like it's long, and the bear's head is like a hood you can kind of flip up.
And now Donnie's going to wear that and nothing else.
And scare children.
No, he's just going to wear it over his armor.
Cool.
While we're up in the mountains and it's a bit chillier.
It doesn't smell. It's not like rotting or anything. Now you've cleaned it and dried it out enough that it's not going to like go off. But it does smell quite strong. Like it's not been tanned and like cleaned properly.
Isn't that because Donnie smells quite strong anyway? Like
it's not an improvement. It's kind of like when you consider it's like it's a bit like taking unwashed hillbilly and adding like week old bacon.
Hmm.
I mean, anything smelling of bacon is an improvement.
Yeah, but I mean week old raw bacon, not cooked bacon.
Yeah, but a hillbilly smelling of bacon or not of bacon.
It's worse than it was. That's all I can give you. Donnie smells worse than he did.
Now he's got all these spoils. Donnie's going to spend the rest of the downtime. He's going to boil like a dozen eggs and sit under a tree, picking his belly button and eating boiled eggs.
Okay, Donnie is living his best life. Glumia, what are you going to do anything with your meat?
I'm gonna cure it.
Gonna make some bear bacon.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Bear
kinda,
jerky.
yeah, make it, and season it so that and salt it so it's suitable for travel.
Or you can change that in your inventory to preserved bear meat.
Nice.
So it will last a good. Now you reckon as long as it doesn't get like particularly warm, it will last you a good month or two.
Or if it gets wet.
Yeah.
50 kilos of jerky now.
That's a heart attack waiting to happen. Kilos of bear jerky. All right, Naxor. I believe you're the only person who's doing so far nothing.
Yeah, I think Naxor would see this remote town that has pretty good supply routes and just want to know how his little remote town that he comes from could have better supply routes rather than their current plan, which is to, fuck things up and get farming working. So he's just going to spend the time talking to, I guess, like a quartermaster.
Yep.
To try and
So
understand how they managed to set all this up.
Yeah. So there is a quartermaster, and he confirmed that initially there was a time back when they first found the cathedral where airship travel was far less common than it is now, and most of the supplies either came through the tunnel road from Marathias, or they ate a lot of cave mushrooms. They had to farm cave mushrooms, but they did find that didn't always turn out well for them because there was quite a lot of people getting either off their tits or just quite sick.
My favourite kinds of mushrooms.
So yeah, initially they worked on the self-sustainable aspect as much as they could initially, and then once they had enough people here to work on potentially growing what little food you can in this area, and then they take root vegetables. It's about all you can grow in this area. But yeah, they went for that. So it's but largely it's through strong relationships with the nearest settlement, so they can encourage and being on a trade route. They can make it worthwhile for traders passing by to stop off here and deliver supplies as part of a different trade route.
So be nice to your neighbours. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's generally the gist of it.
Fair.
Yeah, I think that's all Naxor would be doing.
He does suggest that a surefire way to draw interest to somewhere would be to found another path of light. Chapel, yeah, that's always a good one. Nudge.
He would say that, wouldn't he?
Yes.
That's fine. We've got Cyrus. He can found something, I guess. If I ever go home, if I survive.
Merrill has realized he does not have nearly enough money to transcribe any spells, so he's just going to sit around and read about undead.
How much would it cost you?
Merrill has an awful lot of time on his hands, so I think
50 per spell level, and 50 gold per spell level, and 2 hours per spell level.
You've got the time. You're just lacking the funds.
Yeah.
So you need 150 gold for one third level spell.
I have 45 gold, so yeah, I would need 100.
And 5.
I would need 105 gold.
It's alright, you can learn almost a first level spell.
The librarian in the library is quite. He's aware of who you are and what you've done. So when he sees you, sort of sees what you're up to. After you've been doing it for about 20 minutes or so, he comes over and basically offers to help you out with the materials and stuff required, and sort of help basically provide the cost element to help you learn a spell.
That's
you
good.
can take 1/3 level spell.
I'll spend my 6 hours doing that then. Thank you very much.
Right. That's your day's downtime sorted out. After that, you have the happy night, and you get to know your new friend a bit more.
I bet I can outdrink you. I'm much bigger.
Does anybody take him up on that offer?
Yes.
Cyrus does not.
Salumia does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cyrus tries to find squash or
All
juice.
right. So Salumia, we're doing this. Salumia and Ironweaver. Can I? The poison choice is what kind of drink are we going for? Is this just like a see who can drink the longest, or is it a like shot for shot competition? How's this going to go down?
Shot, surely.
Yeah, shots. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And your poison of choice.
Yes. Poison. No.
Whatever the
yeah. What have the
local
monks got?
drink.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff you're going to find around here, there's fairly typical.
mountain juice.
They like their strong beer. So there's the strong dark beer, but we wouldn't normally shot that.
Yeah, that'll take a lot of shots. So.
They do also. There is a single still in town.
I wonder if they've got any mead.
Got any mead?
And they do distill like it's like a liqueur made from. There's only one sort of berries that grow wildly around here, and they ferment the berries.
What are the berries called?
Juniper berries.
Berries.
What are the berries called? Quick.
They're just like snowberries. They're bent red, and they basically mash them all up with they cut them off like they look a bit like a bunch of grapes on a plant, and they cut off the whole bunch, and then they put the stalks, like everything, they mash it up and make like a mash, and then ferment that in like sugar water, and then they distill it a few times, and then they just call it fire water, but it's clear, and it has it's a slight aniseed taste, with a really really strong kick.
We'll do shots of that then.
This sounds just like Sambuca.
Yeah, right. Oh no. I'm gonna get my head shaved.
It's not all dissimilar to absinthe.
Oh, cool. We're gonna go blind. Let's go, tiny man.
All right.
You are a dwarf, aren't you?
First shot down. You've both been drinking a while. Not concerned. And second shot in again. It's hitting you harder, much harder than either of you expected. This is evidently incredibly strong stuff. But again, 2 shots in, no major concerns. But on your third, I'm going to get you both to make a Constitution save.
All right then. Con save. Ooh, that's not good. Oh no.
All right, you both knock it back. Ironweaver looks mildly less confidently at the start, but still no major concerns there. And you're both agreeable to carry on?
Yeah. Let's keep going till one of us passes out or dies.
Yeah. You take another shot.
More con saves.
More con saves.
Oh god, no.
For your benefit, these are going to get progressively harder every shot you take.
Oh god, no. Why am I trying to outdrink a dwarf?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yet again, it's the same story really. Lumiere seems still confident and unfazed, although he's definitely feeling it. Ironweaver again. You hold it down. You're not making a fool of yourself, but that's hitting your substantial thighs more than you expected.
Mm-hmm.
His what? Substantial thighs?
Thighs.
Substantial thighs.
You've got substantial
thighs.
I
Thick.
do, yeah.
Thick phallic.
This is going straight to
I'm
my
trying to
substantial
outdrink
thighs.
Salumier, but the clap of my cheeks.
Black, bitch.
Thunder thighs,
Alright.
Alec.
Let's
Thunder
drink.
thighs, Ironweaver.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Again.
Yeah.
Ooh. All the turns of table. Alright. Ironweaver is getting into his stride now. And he takes that next one, and he's feeling like he's got that kind of false confidence you get when you start to get drunk, when you're like, I'm invincible. Salumia, on the other hand, is all of a sudden feeling very ropey, and he's not sick, but he's pretty sure if he does another one and it doesn't go well, he will definitely be ill, and he will lose much face with his newfound Goliath friend, who is about twice his height, I believe.
Wait, how tall is Salumio?
4.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Iron Weaver's like 7'5". Let's.
Reasonable.
Oh, that's not okay. No, yeah.
All right.
Oh fuck.
Oh.
Oh fuck.
Boy.
Oh wait, was he the 16 you?
Yeah, I was 16. He was 26. So.
Slumia rallies an impressive show of I don't know. I mean, is this impressive or is it just sad? I don't know. It's all. But he knocks back the next one and like belches loudly and bellows. He's he's ready for more. He can take it. And Thalok, however, is almost takes a queasy turn. Thalok, can you roll me another Constitution save?
Yep.
With
Oh.
So you've.
If you're going to say with disadvantage, then.
I was about to.
Yeah, there it is. All right, that one.
Right. You Thalok. Yeah, that last one's gone straight. It's just hit the back of your throat, and you instantly realise that this is not staying.
The more preserved meat now.
You've got about 10. You think you've got about 10 to 15 seconds before you projectile vomit.
All right, Thalok will desperately try and find a window or a bucket or a gnome who's unsuspecting.
Can you roll Donnie's new hood?
Donnie.
No, during all this, Donnie is going throughout the tavern and introducing himself to literally everyone and telling his life story.
Wait, what are the odds he turns up to Thalok to say his life story and Thalok throws up?
Can you roll an athletics check to see how far you get to the door?
Oh god. Okay, I've got okay athletic. Oh, that's not great.
You manage to get up. No, you look at Slumia and just kind of wave your hands. You're like, no more. And you stand up, knock the bench over that your statue was sitting on, and run towards the door. And you make it as far as like the coat rack. Like there's a lot of hooks on the wall with like various coats and cloaks and stuff on.
Yep.
And you're desperately trying not to make a mess. You grab the first the cloak nearest the door. Because you know you're going to be sick, but you're not going to get the door open because of the latch, and you've got big family fingers. So you proceed to throw the whole thing over your head, and then kind of try and make a bowl out of it, and you vomit into it. And you manage to then, whilst doing that, you manage to fumble the latch open and dump outside, and then you're in a bad way outside in the gutter.
Yeah, I will, as is tradition, pass out.
Cyrus would like to cast prestidigitation on the thing that he threw up into. Just being
It's currently still wrapped around his head.
I mean, if Merrill was here, rather than try and pick him up, he would cast floating disc to try and carry him back.
All right, so you establish after a brief investigation, and you all agree to leave with Slumia on his knees, Iron Weaver is just out cold. All his own vomit in the snow outside, but Slumia is still standing, but can belay. Every step is a down to one knee and back up again sort of situation. So he needs dragging, and you established that he did in fact vomit in Naxor's cloak.
Oh.
Yes.
But Cyrus is very kindly cleaned it for you. So.
Thank you.
It does feel a bit stiff, like clothes that have been dried in the cold. It's gone a bit like cardboard. But, it is clean.
As long as it's clean.
All right. So that's your eventful evening. You wake up. The next morning, you will wake up. Some of you are in a better state than others.
Oh, my soul.
Iron Weaver is cursing the false promises of the World Forge. But based on the Firewater, he was sure he would win.
Exactly. It seemed a given. That dwarf is crazy.
And Slumia has the worst hangover he's had in years.
I've got literally nothing that will help here. I was like looking through my spells and I'm like,
Yeah.
Some preserved meat would help.
A nice bit of salty, chewy meat is just what you want with a horrendous hangover,
Nice
isn't
stringy bear meat.
it? Whoa.
Gamey.
Right.
Okay. You all congregate and Archmanded right meet you at the dock, and there is a small supply boat, vessel, airship that very kindly transports you and takes you onwards to Marathias, which
Right.
you can view on the Legend Keeper map.
The town just to the north, right?
Just to the north.
Oh fuck! I've closed my Legend Keeper. There it is. Okay.
So it is currently wintertime, so Marathias is in full swing. There are, as you approach, you see a large number of incredibly fat airships. They look like barrels with sails. They're huge. And they're the equivalent of like tankers, but for the sky. And they're all transporting ore like southwards and south west towards Paravantium and quite often onwards to Navarre. And you know as you reach the docks, your ship is by comparison minuscule. When you're working on a little side dock, which is not got a lot going on. And bear with me just a second. I'll give you a little. No, wait, there's a nice little image for you. So can you see anything on that actually?
It's a black screen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, black screen for me.
That better?
Hey.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So you're at the docks, and there's a lot of big old ships.
So we want to try and find the Path of Light chapel here, right? Or did I misunderstand?
There's not a chapel here.
Right.
We
There's
want
not a
to
lot of
find
them now.
we want to find the mining union.
Oh yes.
Find
yes,
Mr. Salu.
Yep.
Do they have like an office here, or?
You walk down the docks. One of the things you know is there is an awful lot of very burly looking, very like the sort of black mining dust. There's a lot of miners evidently in on show, and they're everywhere. Very large burly men with strong forearms.
you'd want to go to like the more industrial part of town, wouldn't you? Just like the less rural and the more industrious it looks like, the better, in theory.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, from what you can tell, the whole town appears to be the whole. No, it's a mining town. The whole place is basically orientated around the mining trade.
Yeah, but I mean,
So
like if
there
you're
are
heading
some-
towards
there
like
is a-
smithies and things like that, and like forges, that you're probably getting closer to the mine.
Yeah, so ultimately, you're quite high up in the mountains, so the town is built onto the side of a mountain essentially. It's terraced, so the docks sit at the bottom, sort of the lowest part, and that's where the mines then generally start. And then as you go higher up, there's not a huge number of terraces above that, but there's like the first terrace is essentially like where a lot of the miners stay, and then there's a terrace above that with some finer houses and some offices and stuff. So you've got like bottom, mid, and upper tiers.
Ooh.
But the bottom, no, there are. So the bottom tier is like one half of it is just the ginormous docks, and then it's literally there's like a not it's only like 500 meters long, but there's a big old minecart track that runs to the other end where a lot of all the ore and stuff is brought in from the mines to that location, and it's then used a minecart system to put it onto the ships.
Very nice.
So that's all like full on industrial where you are currently, and then basically all of the sort of boarding houses and stuff, all the miners stay. They're all on the tier, and like taverns, stuff, all on the tier above that, mid tier.
Well, tavern seems like the best place to get these kind of things. What do you think?
Head to a pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where all union business takes place.
It's my understanding. Yeah.
You head to a rowdy miners' pub.
Oh shit! That doesn't look like a pub. There we go. Now it looks like a pub. This is a very suspiciously familiar-looking pub.
Demanding. Do you want a different one? I can give you a different one if you want.
I never said it. I just said it looks suspiciously familiar.
That better?
All these taverns look the same.
There you go. There's a
That's
different pub.
That one has a big fire in the middle.
I like it.
New Krend will be happy.
Right, as you enter the pub, you do note that there is a bard performing, much to the miner's delight, and he's singing a bawdy song about a particularly promiscuous maid, of which they're taking great pleasure in. And upon entering, Merrill literally just like stands stock still and then loses his shit.
No.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
I wonder
Oh,
whose
shit.
background character this is.
Shit. That's Merrill actually saying that. oh dear. Uncle, and just runs over.
All right, he's literally like mid-song with a lute. So initially he's like, he looks at you and like smiles and nods, and then he's just like, oh.
Can't we just say that this is definitely the cutest family reunion of all time? Like,
It's adorable. I want to pet them.
Yeah, you see a flamboyant giant rabbit playing a lute on a stage, with big puffy sleeves, and he's got a surprisingly husky, like deep singing voice for a rabbit. Sorry, not rabbit. What am I meant to be saying? Is it Rengian?
Librarian or something like that.
I read it as Harangon.
Oh.
Harangon? Yeah.
surely be Haringun because of hairs.
Harangon. I think it's a play on there and gone.
Haringun. Oh, I see.
Oh, Haragon. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So anyway, large hoppity boy. With a fairly fancy-looking rapier on his belt, but he's playing lute.
Mhm.
And after, so you take a table, free because it's popular bar with the entertainment. And after finishing his song, he collects his and then people sort of paying him, and then Darian takes a seat alongside you.
Uncle, what are you doing here? I didn't know where you would be, but I didn't know you'd be here.
Well, I'm everywhere, my boy. If I travel far and wide. Why? What are you doing out of Ostagar?
Well, Uncle, these are my friends, and just gestures to probably not the kind of group he would imagine Merrill would hang out with.
Uncle Darian looks around and is there's like a slight frown on his face as he kind of takes everyone in, and he looks particularly unnerved by Fallock. He's like respectable. He's come across Belias before and he understands them to be relatively honourable, so he's not too concerned. Cyrus and Naxor look largely average adventurers, nothing that exciting. Not quite sure about Salomia in the bloodstained leather apron with the massive cleaver. And he looks like a pretty rough sort. And Donnie, whilst he looks like your average kind of ranger in terms of skins and stuff, he does just look like a scumbag. So he's not entirely convinced, but he's willing to be like, he's big enough and old enough to choose your own companions.
He says, "Uncle, we're here in the city. We're trying to find a gentleman called Mr. Salou. We think he might have information we need."
Ah, Mr. Salou, yes, I'm familiar with him. He's a gruff fellow, but he's got a heart of gold.
Good.
What brings you to him?
We found a skeleton, and he wasn't very nice, and we think Mr. Salou.
At this point, are the rest of the party perfectly happy for Merrill to disclose your full story of how you got here?
Yeah.
The understand, Meryl being Meryl, I'm sure he would just happily then.
Oh yeah, he would 100% like just disclose the whole thing to his uncle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Iron Weaver's
no
just going to
one
go buy a drink, so.
Donnie is competing with Meryl to introduce himself and tell his life story to him.
And then there'll be some stuff. So Meryl, you recount the whole shebang,
Mm-hmm.
literally in great detail, as only like the naivety of youth can. You tell all the unnecessary details that like Darian evidently doesn't need to know, like the name of the ship you travelled on to get to Orizon and all that kind of stuff. But he humours you. He's familiar with your over-energetic enthusiasm. And he sort of goes quiet for a while and then says, "Well, I think I can help you find this Mr. Salou. I think there's someone else. There's someone else in town I'd like you to meet as well, but I think you should go see Mr. Salou first."
Yes, yeah. I mean, if you know this man, we'd be most grateful.
I'm going to go meet this other individual, but he's not going to be here for a few days, so I'm just performing while until he arrives. But in the interim, I've got to carry on here for this evening, but I can certainly arrange for you for some rooms here. I'll speak to the the innkeep, and I can point you in the right direction in the morning to go find Mr. Salou.
Very nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, and Darian should now be on Legend Keeper as well.
Nice.
Ooh.
Cyrus is going to look to try and find something sweet to eat. Doesn't really mind what, just has to be sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so
Cookies,
it's
anything
an
like
inn. It's not. No, it's a mining town. It's hardly sort of highbrow cuisine, but
Right.
there is a significant side of what looks like some kind of mountain boar being roasted over a huge fire, and there is also there is a very suspect looking fruitcake. The surface out on the outside, which is obviously where there is, it's obviously been out a while, and the outside looks a bit like tree bark. It's gone quite crusty.
Iron
There are
Weaver would
sides-
like some fruitcake.
Yeah, Cyrus will cut a piece and see if he can cut round the barky bits.
Cyrus picks at it with there's no cutlery available, so he just picks it with his pocket knife. Kind of he's sitting there just trying to put with the cake in his hand, kind of shaving bits off.
I do have a dagger, an actual dagger.
Well, a dagger, yeah, it's fine. So by the time you finished, trying to get rid of the barky bits, what you're left with is essentially the same size, the same shape as the bit of cake was originally, but it's about half the size.
That seems fine. I'm just going to nibble that.
And I will eat the barky bits.
Baby to it.
I'm a Goliath.
Alright. Librarian returns to his stage and performs, and after speaking to the innkeeper and arranging the rooms. So you've got evening to yourselves, and you enjoy the inn. To be honest, you're all quite a couple of days off, just staying in inns and having a drink are a welcome break from the fucking chaos of chasing an insane poker bar person.
Yeah.
The R&R is most welcome. And the miners seem pretty rough and ready, but they're friendly enough. So no, you're not getting given evils or anything for being outsiders. No one really minds too much.
That's fair. Well, what do we want to do now, guys?
Well, you take your evening, and then I guess, unless anyone has anything specific they'd like to do in that evening, it's
just kind of.
But we can jump the next morning if that suits.
Works for me.
Yeah. No.
Andy, Tom, what do you think, Richard?
Yeah.
Got any plans?
No.
No, not for the mining town.
I expect a 50-50 shot that Donnie would just start a bar fight.
Oh, you wait.
Donnie's not the kind of bar fight kind of guy.
I don't mean he'd do it intentionally. More just
He tells someone his life story and they wouldn't appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. He just wanted to go away.
he's just interrupting people to be like, My name's Donnie.
Alright, Donnie does meet a couple of miners whilst buying drinks, and the vast majority of them are sort of like, generally just like, he starts to tell him his life story, and then it's like, oh, okay, and then they sort of disappear. There was one fairly spindly looking guy. He doesn't really look much like a miner, but he's dressed like one, but he's a bit thin. And he wears like cracked glasses and is very over enthusiastic and sits and listens to the entire story from beginning to end, and then gets Donnie to repeat it twice more.
And Donnie obliges.
Right, after that, the guy with the glasses, sort of after Donnie's repeated it twice, he kind of thanks him heartily for his story and then leaves.
Nice.
Suspicious.
Or is it?
Suspicious that he actually paid attention to me.
Yeah. Well, Donnie is just loving that he telling the story of his life, but me, not the character, is suspicious of who this person is. But Donnie doesn't think anything less. He's just had a jolly good time drinking and telling the story.
Alright. So the next morning, Librarian meets you downstairs at breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And he directs you to so basically the headquarters of the mining union that Mr. Salou sort of heads up is on the there's between the tiers they have like big broad steps. The steps are all probably getting on for 40 feet wide. It's like they go right through the middle of the town. That's the way up and down. And just like the building next to the steps from mid tier to the upper tier is like what is on the one side of it. There's one massive building, and he says, "No, you can't miss it. It's got a big sign. That's the mining union headquarters."
Mm.
So yeah, he sort of directs you there.
Nice. So I suppose at this point we're going to decide we're going to go in as ourselves. We're going to try and pretend to be miners. What's the situation?
Well, I'm a smith, so
I'm not terribly deceptive. I'm not much of an actor, I must say.
What?
I don't know if I would pass for a miner.
I am quite deceptive. Weirdly enough.
Which is weird because you are so naive.
I know.
Can I get a very brief update of where we are? Because I've had to go downstairs or something. I know we're in this town. We got into the tavern and we seen the guy Ed's
we
Uncle.
met Ed's uncle.
That's it.
He's pointed us towards the miners' union, and we're just debating on how we're going to approach it. Are we going to be ourselves? Are we going to pretend to be someone else?
Go half and half.
Be right back, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
What would disguise be? Is there an actual
Get some
skill for
more
disguise?
outfits. Deception, probably.
Perception.
Deception.
Deception. Oh, okay. Donnie's not very good at deception.
Why do we need to deceive this guy?
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain why the deception.
Well,
Apart
I'm
from
more thinking,
to roll some dice, but
Oh, yes.
I'm more thinking, aren't they anti the current? No, aren't they at odds basically with the Path of Light? The Path of Light are all about bringing back.
Are any of us? I can't remember. Are any of us from the Empire? Because I'm not.
I'm not.
No, I'm not.
I'm born and raised in Kirkwall.
I thought the Path of Light was neutral with these guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, he
okay,
seems
yeah.
quite
We
like
can
the Path of
go in as
Light.
we are.
Yeah, Rockfort
Yeah.
seemed to be on relatively friendly terms with
Yeah,
them.
didn't he say like they reached out for a friendship deal, and the Path of Light said, "Look, we got to stay neutral." That's kind of like
Yeah.
so.
Right.
They're not best buddies, but you know.
Yeah, that was me.
Hmm.
Path of Light is like quite forward, inward focused. They don't really go anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
As
I
evidenced
think
by
we'll be-
Cyrus. Cool. Works for me. Going as we are. We're gonna get unionized. Yeah, boy.
The Union
So,
of Adventurers.
I understand you're brewing a little bit of a rebellion, eh?
Yeah.
I suppose we're not trying to like get involved with the rebellion. We're just kind of like, hey, we know you're doing some rebellious things. You haven't seen a skeleton hanging about anytime soon, have you? We're not disrupting anything. We're not even saying don't do the whole rebelling thing.
Yeah. No skinning
Well,
that.
not initially, but if he's not helpful, oh Jesus, are we going to quash that rebellion?
I don't know. That doesn't seem like the right thing to do.
Oh,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Cyrus. I don't know if you can justify quashing a rebellion.
What a mess.
We're quashing a rebellion. No. We decide we're going to go in as we are.
Alright. So you head to where Librarian directed you, and you come to it's an incredibly large wooden building. As well, all the buildings are wooden, but this one is particularly big. It's got like sort of stone foundations, but it's standing about 4 stories tall. So the frontage of it onto the mid tier, has entrance at ground level, but the very top tier looks like it actually has doors onto the upper level as well from behind. It's got big, broad, like single massive bits of wood across all the windows and above the big double doors on the ground floor, with some steps up to it. It's a pretty grand-looking building for what is fairly functional, but definitely built to be imposing. And there's a steady stream of sort of fairly practical-looking, but sort of respectably dressed men coming and going from the doors. It's quite busy. You head inside, and it's a bit like a cross between a bank and a busy office. So on one side there's like some what you looks like kind of tellers desks with like little grates, and there appears to be that's sort of where it appears to be where sort of deals are being done regards like buying and selling of all stocks and stuff. And then on the right is like a more open area with desks, and there's people like doing working and also sort of having conversations with individuals behind desks and stuff. What are you going to do?
Ask at the front desk who the head of the union is. It's probably the most direct way. What do you think? Anyone else?
I don't think there's any harm in just asking to be directed to.
Yeah,
Mr.
Meryl's
Saloon.
just leaving this to the more well-spoken members of the group.
Cyrus puffs stuff in his chest. So I was going to go to the reception, and whoever's behind the reception, he's just going to ask straight up who the head of the union is, as he'd love to request a meeting with him.
Okay. The man on deck is a bit taken aback and kind of says, well, not to be dismissive, gentlemen, but the union, just for your information, the union doesn't officially have an individual head, although arguably Mr. Salou or lead is one of the founding members and probably the most significant. So if you had to pick one, it would be him. But he's a very busy man, and not to be rude, but is there a particular reason you need to see him? Who are you?
Morning, Cyrus. I'm from the Path of the Light, and I'd just like to have a few words with him about recent discussions he's had with my faith and things that prelude to the future and just general safety of everything. I know he's been trying to contact us.
We got a little bit suspicious.
I'll pull out my holy symbol, which is still glowing ridiculously brightly.
Right. He's a bit confused, and he's also, well, who sent you?
Well, that would be our Lord and Savior. But who are from this mortal world? Well, very much sent myself.
Sorry,
We also met a very nice chap called Archimandrite Rockfoot. He was very helpful.
Well, yeah, although, sent is it's a loose term. Rockfoot's an old friend of mine.
Rockford, yes.
We're all friends in the Buffer Lights.
All right. The secretary seems to have come to the opinion that Cyrus is a bit of a moron.
1 fucking second.
But yeah, with the clarification from Merrill that the reason you're here is because you were sort of directed here by the Archimand, right? He's sort of like, right, okay, it makes more sense now. And he says, well, I think Mr. Slew might be able to see you. Let me just go find out. And he sends off a runner, a small boy, to investigate, and you have to just wait for a few minutes. And then he comes back and talks to the receptionist, and he says, right, okay, you can go in now. And he directs you to a slide door. Slide door that leads to a big office with...
Sorry to interrupt. Can I have a quick word with you in the DM's corner?
Yes?
Can you move in there? Just want to have a little wee little...
Oh, secrets.
What was this?
He's going to betray us all.
He is.
The only logical conclusion. Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that Dan requested it means that he's doing it willingly.
Yeah, that is true. No matter what happens, what comes out of this, Dan chose this.
Yeah. Sus on Cyrus?
Yes. Definitely saw him venting.
Yeah. Confused as to what's going on here.
Thank you. We're good.
Hello.
Oh.
Right. Sorry, that threw me. Anyway. Yeah, so you went into the office again. You walk in, and this is a pretty impressive looking office. So there's a big, full width window that looks out over the docks. Behind it, you have to go up some stairs to get here, and then it doubles back, and the front of the building looks out of the docks. You've got a really good view of that, and then the valley beyond. And there's a really broad desk with some fairly robust looking leather on top of it. It's a smart desk. There is a very small bookcase, but there's not a lot of books on it. There's a pair of crossed mining picks on the wall over the big fireplace, and some very substantial looking chairs of polished wood. It's not the fanciest place you've ever imagined, but it's all very heavily and well built furniture. It looks kind of well made but practical. And behind the desk is a very thick set man in shirt sleeves who greets you and says, "Gentlemen, what do I owe this pleasure?"
Can we have Salumia do the talking just so it's accent city?
Yeah.
I can't understand the French accent, I'm afraid.
You're laughing like you think he's lying, but when we went out for dinner a few weeks ago, there was a French waiter and Annie couldn't understand a word he was saying.
Andy, you're going to have real great fun in France, aren't you?
Andy's going to be that guy to walk around and just say everything really slowly in English.
Je m'appelle Andy.
One croissant, s'il vous plaît.
One croissant.
Yeah.
Croissant.
Pay no chocolate. Pay no chocolate.
Brilliant. Well, Cyrus is just going to back up and push Meryl forwards.
Pushing forward.
Because Mr. Salute knows your uncle, doesn't he? Or might, in theory, know your uncle. Might recognise the family resemblance.
Our friend, my uncle, sort of showed us to your office, but it was a recent acquaintance of ours, Archimandrite Rockford at the Orriston Cathedral, who pointed us in your direction.
Ah, yes, Rockford. Why?
Well,
We think there might be a might be planning some things, then we're wondering if we can help.
All right. At that point, his eyes kind of narrow, and he looks at you carefully. And then he, without a word, he walks past you and closes the doors behind you, and lets us for you to take a seat. And he sits behind a desk and sort of steeples his fingers and says, "What kind of plans?"
Well, to speak candidly, we heard that you might be, well, not you per se, but the royal you, that there may be some kind of rebellion being planned, and the reason we're interested is more to do with an entity that we think may be benefiting from it. So we're trying to find that entity, and we think that he may be coming here. Don't suppose you've been seeing any skeletons lately? Living ones or unliving ones?
Skeleton? No. Who told you of this rebellion?
Well, it was told to me by Rockfort and also a bit from Uncle Darian. He's not my uncle, you see. He's Meryl's uncle, but we just refer to him as Uncle Darian. I'm just going to continue to babble.
So, despite this outstanding show of charisma from the stumbling and stuttering Cyrus, can you roll me a persuasion check?
Yeah, it's because
you're quite good at this. But the words you're telling me don't sound like you are. But
it's because I'm endearing. People look at it and they go,
It's true. I feel nothing but pity for him.
I'm going to use the shelter, or let me just double check before I do that. Not shelter of the faithful. Let me just double check. Nope, never mind. That doesn't help. Ignore. Carry on. There we go. 13 it is.
All right. He seems a bit kind of suspicious, but let me just. All right. On balance, he's got if Rockfall sent you, then he probably wouldn't have done that without good reason. So I'm not going to run the accent through this whole information blur because I can't board. It'll sound bad and take away from the gravity of the situation. But essentially, he explains that he hasn't seen any signs of any skeletons, but he's willing to admit that he may have some links with the with some kind of revolutionary arrangement. But he's not overly forthcoming. But he's a little bit skeptical as to why he should kind of bring you into the fold as such. He doesn't know you. He trusts you as much as that you're not going to sell him out. But he asks what use you can be.
Well, I'm a cleric and I could do some healing. The rest of my party pretty good at, mostly fighting, but
fighting. No fighting.
Fighting. No fighting.
No fighting.
We've got a good hunter, and Sumia over there. Well, he's best butcher of what we've ever met. He may also be the only butcher I've ever met, but he's top quality. And he knows what he's doing. Try some of his bear jerky, and then he's just gonna indicate it slowly. He tries.
I'm just gonna toss some down on the table, like 10 kilos of it.
Yeah.
Mr. Slew looks at it and kind of pokes it, and then just takes out a belt knife and cuts off a small bit and nibbles it. And he's sort of pleasantly surprised, yeah, not bad. And not bad. Well,
that was in the middle of a forest. No tools.
We have I can see where you may add some value to our cause, but I could do with a little assistance. Closer to home first. One of our new, most profitable mines has run into a problem. I'm hoping you may be able to assist me with. Perhaps if you could close this out, we could see about progressing the revolution.
Okay, well, what seems to have happened in the mine?
Well, there's a problem we've come across. It's difficult It's not you. My miners, they're tough, but they are not warriors, and we have a dragon problem.
Oh,
What?
When you say
Yes.
dragon problem, is that more just like if they won't pay their taxes, or is it more of the kind of you have to kill the dragon kind of situation?
Is this a figure of speech?
It is very literal. The dragon is the problem. So, you could kill, yes?
Well, guess we better go kill a dragon.
oh, I mean,
Do
we
you-
could do that. Dragons. I mean, they're meant to be big, but yeah, we could do that. Sure.
Do I suppose you know what color the dragon is?
Well, we are in the mountains. He's white, of course.
White. I see. Is that ice dragon? Would I know that?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Do any of us know?
I think the only person who's likely to know is potentially Ironweaver's probably got a bit of background on that. He's from the mountains. He knows
They are
that.
mountain dragons.
Yeah, and possibly Lumiere if he's not necessarily his bag, but being a dwarf, he's got an ongoing kind of racial issue with dragons.
What is that?
Yeah. What is it? Do the white ones breathe ice? I'm trying to remember.
I mean, they do. I know that
They
as
do.
me.
Okay,
but,
right. You know that. Okay, good.
but not as Cyrus. I just know
Yep.
that they do.
All right. Ironweaver will offer up that information and say they are aberrations. They must be killed.
It's like the opposite of Foyer.
Exactly. You get it.
Alright, so he's very pleased that you've accepted said task. And he informs you that the mine is currently sort of not been decommissioned but been closed temporarily until they can deal with the dragon problem. So he can send you a guide take you to said mine. It's not far away. But essentially they were mining and they found a nice rich seam of ore, and they went down, found a natural cave that had this seam ran into, and broke out into it, and then it turned out the cave was the back end of a dragon's lair, so that's gone poorly for them. So it's not, they can't really, they were mining it and now they can't, because if they go any further they just end up interfering with the dragon, and the dragon's not very pleased with that. So
Suppose only other thing is how big is this dragon? How old is it looking?
it's big as full grown.
Right. Well. Okay.
Well, let's go interfere with the dragon.
Let's go.
Go dragon bothering.
Let's go see if we can
Dragon bother.
get rid of this. Maybe if we ask it politely, it will go.
That's nice, he'll just leave.
Yeah.
That'll work.
I've got like 60 gold coins. If I leave a trail, maybe it will follow it.
I mean, I have a +9 in intimidation. We could just intimidate this dragon out of there.
There you go, boy. Got a plan.
But it's not going to see me
Cyrus.
because I'm going to be hidden.
Cyrus just looks at and goes, "One last question before we go. Don't suppose you have some kind of potion cellar nearby?"
But of course, you will be needing supplies. I will send the quartermaster will help you.
Excellent. Because we are going into battle. We may need some strong potions.
Yes.
I'm saying nothing. All right, he directs you to the quartermaster, who is a particularly fat man with a magnificent pair of sideburns, and
Nice.
he's offering all sorts of accoutrements that you may need if you're a miner, and that does include some potions of healing.
Cool.
How much?
They are 20 gold each.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll take one of them.
Does he have, by any chance, a potion of cold resistance?
You
The
guys
Forge
are
are
just resistant to cold already? Huh.
a bit beyond him. They get the potions of healing in because they're kind of mass produced in the Imperium to be sent out various places. They're easy to come by, but resistance potions aren't. They're a bit more specialist, so they don't tend to get shipped out in the same fashion.
Damn it.
There's no one making potions.
Sam's thought of everything, god damn it. Okay, cool. How much were they? 20 gold?
20 gold pop for a potion healing.
Cyrus would say, well, we're about to go and take out our dragon and save your town. Don't suppose you could give us the hero's discount?
He apologizes and says he doesn't have any offer any new discounts, but he does say for double the price you can get a potion of great healing.
I think getting lesser is probably better in this going to be for this fight. I think just in case you
I mean, the only difference being the time it takes to get the health.
Yeah, I'm more thinking just like being able to heal more people might be better than.
How much
Like-
do these lesser potions cost?
The potion of healing is 20 gold. The greater healing is 40 gold, but there's only
Okay.
two of those.
I can't afford it.
By one lesser, one greater.
All right, that'd be 60 gold.
I've
While
got
you're
10.
chatting with the quartermaster, you two tell him about what you're up to do. He does inform you that there is actually a bounty on the head of the dragon. They've been looking for someone to kill this for some time.
Ooh!
Oh,
Ooh,
yes.
what's the bounty?
Bounty is 1,000 gold.
Yes.
Each.
No, just 1,000 gold for the head of the dragon.
Still not bad.
It is a dragon.
Don't dragons tend to hoard gold as well?
I suppose
Exactly.
the only problem with that is they're probably, hoarding all the ores. That's what I'm thinking. It's in a mine, so they're probably mining precious metals, and that's probably what's attracted it.
Ah,
But we never know. We can always hope.
What a way to victim blame, Cyrus.
Pardon?
What a way to victim blame.
I mean, I'm not victim blaming. Just gaslighting the party early so that when it is a shitload, it can be like, oh no, it was just the all along. As I'm walking along in a crown.
giant fucking gold medallions.
Anyone else getting a healing potion?
I can't afford anything.
I've got
10 gold.
Yeah, same.
Poor.
Same.
Could we put our gold together and buy another one?
I mean, I've got 5 now left. 5 gold left.
I've got 15.
I have
I can chip
no
in for
gold.
another.
I have 25 gold. I'll spend another 20, and I'll whoever needs it can have a potion of healing.
Don, roll me a d10.
Oh, okay.
Think to assume you weren't completely penniless.
10.
Alright, we'll go up with 40 gold.
Oh, lovely. All right.
Who, Donnie? You needed a potion. Here, have this.
Nice. Thank you. Is it lesser healing?
Yeah, I think
This
so.
potion of healing, 2d4 plus 2.
I add that from the thing.
I don't know.
If you add it in, it doesn't actually become a rollable thing.
Yeah.
So I've just added the item in and just named it, and then I'll just remember. You won't catch me with 6 potions of healing and death.
Hey.
Alright. There is a little chart about how their healing works in handouts.
Yeah.
Right, so
Are they still a bonus action for our campaign?
Yeah.
Nice.
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 you're all prepped.
Yeah.
Let's go kill a dragon.
Let's
Yeah,
go. Fuck a dragon. Wait, what?
Let's go get
Only
brutally murdered
special-
by a dragon.
Thinking about it, is there any? Do we have any knowledge on what is strong against ice dragons?
Yeah,
Lots of damage.
Black arrows.
An anti-dragon shield.
I mean,
bombs.
Do any of us,
I-
know just any
So-
information that might be helpful?
I do as Dan, but not as Cyrus. Just
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
I looked into dragons a bit when I was doing my campaign. Can I share any of that, Sam?
I think it's fair to say I'll allow the dwarf and the Goliath to roll a history or something check or nature check to
Nature? Yeah.
see what they know.
Survival? No, I'll roll nature then.
can I roll?
Actually, no, I'll roll history. History. I have no idea.
Double nat ones there for,
Oh, that's a bad roll.
for the double 13s.
Slumia, not bad.
Right, Slimia, he says he doesn't know of any specific weaknesses. He knows a little bit about dragon layers, but he knows that a cold is generally not much of a issue for the white dragons, so wouldn't recommend that. But otherwise, no, he's not got any real concerns about their. He doesn't have any weaknesses that he knows of.
I
Donnie-
say melted.
Donnie is
He
going to
knows a little
assume.
bit. He knows a little bit about white dragons, and he knows that they're ice orientated. They don't tend to hang around with other dragons. They're pretty isolationist.
Isolationist.
Oh,
And they have a sort of magpie-esque love for things that look like wealthy or valuable items that look like ice. So they like whalebone and ivory and white things, and they also like diamonds and stuff.
They're like badminton.
They're not particular fan of gold because it's too yellow.
Fair. And they don't like yellow snow either.
No, they don't mind a bit of platinum, but yeah.
Cool.
so does Salumie have any? Could we get? Could we fool it with just like bones for something valuable, like in ivory?
Could we get a bunch of mages and create a gigantic diamond? Wait, hang on.
Yeah, I think there's no way we're going to really trick it to do anything because I think
we're going to kill it.
It's
Yeah.
just
It's
going
gonna
to
be
be a
pretty
go out
smart,
there and
too.
kill it kind of thing.
Okay, then can Donnie's going to assume that the thing to fight ice dragons is things that are on fire, and buy some like rags and like paraffin or something that he can put on his crossbow bolts.
Nice.
All right, you buy so you can find rags very easily, and there's no paraffin. No one's sure what you mean when you ask for paraffin, but they do offer you. You ask something that burns that you can soak stuff in. They offer you a bit of whale oil.
Okay.
I can start
Nice.
fires easily, so I've got you covered.
Okay. Oh yeah.
God.
So can Donnie get some flint and steel, some whale oil, and rags?
Freely available with minimal cost. It's like small change. You got not getting anything too exciting there.
Did my uncle Darian say that he wanted to catch me after meeting with Salu?
Yeah. So you when you're prepping for your little trip, you see him again in the inn, and you sort of explain what you want to do, and he wishes you all the best. He says he'd love to join you, but he's got other commitments. But he says when you get back, he's heard that the individual he was here to meet should be here by the next day. So when you're back, he wants to introduce you.
If
Yeah, will do. Okay. Well, see you later, Uncle. We're gonna go fight a dragon. and just like pops off. Doot.
That uncle 100% thinks you're dead.
I'm his favorite. So he hopes not.
you're my favourite nephew. Alright, let's go to the fucking thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep. Let's go
Can we
get
try-
killed by a
can we-
dragon.
Can we try and hustle up some miners to come with us, like Beauty and the Beast style, like mob?
You try ask around, but miners are actually the ones you come across who are working for the union are actually treated pretty well, and they get a pretty stable deal and decent pay. So they're not desperate. So they're totally okay without the risk of death.
Is this gonna be overtime? Is this hazard pay? Gotta check with the union.
I've
Unions
reached my
have really
allotted number of
ruined
hours.
the ability to rally a bunch of miners to go kill a dragon.
Rally 'em. Good old fashioned angry mob.
These damn unions, you know.
I think Margaret Thatcher was working for the dragons, and that's why she weakened the power of the unions.
I fucking knew it.
I think we burn it wide open, guys.
Yeah.
It is madness. All right, you find your guide back at the HQ of the mining.
I'm gonna have to shoot off in a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say I was about to basically go ask. We can go. Basically, yeah, you find the entrance to the mine. You're led there by your guide, and it's a lovely.
I can do dragon fight this evening if you want, or
I think there's a lot to take in today. So yeah, you're led to the mine entrance, and yeah, we'll call it there. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Cool.
That has been
We're
a
gonna die.
session.
Very good.
Yep.
We have just done a good 2 hours of nothing but role play.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair.
Well
Yeah.
done, lads.
Yeah, very good.
This is the last session with all of us alive again. We're going to have another death next week.
It's exciting. But it's alright, because Dan isn't going to die, because Sam doesn't want his backup character.
That is some good plot armor.
It's genius. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, my next character, if he kills off Uppercuttiest Big Punch, is going to be Uppercuttiest Small Punch.
Uppercuttiest biggest punch.
And then Uppercuttiest Fast Punch.
Of course.
Uppercuttiest Big Kick. Family of warrior monks. Yep.
Yep.
That'd be awesome.
Oh dear.